Okay, today we are going to draw this orchard. Okay. First I just made a very general proportion of it, right? I just made like this. So and composition too, right? I wish I made it a little bit this way, but yeah, that's probably be better because it's sticking out on the left. So that's the first step. I didn't start with one flower, right? I map it out and get the composition right, right? That's what you do in the first step. Put everything, map out everything, and put the composition right, where you want, how big, where you want to put all those things. Because today we only have one object there, right? If you have several, you know, several group, part of flower, then where you going to arrange it, right? So that's what the first steps for. Arrange it. Okay, and I like this smaller one. Now I can really show you what I'm thinking about it. So that's good. So that's the first step. I was did right. So okay, now second step. Okay, second step. I'm going to place those things. I can tell this kind of right in the corner, the biggest one, right? And this right next to this right next to this, and see this right next to this, slanted. I'm placing everything and kind of draw that, like very sketchy, right? So that's the first step. Very sketchy, so you can be quicker, okay? Don't draw on it like, oh, is this line straight or not? Oh, I must make that line straight. No, that's not the purpose of the first or second sketch. Okay, the reason they call this sketching it, you just freely draw it. Okay, some people need to be relaxed. Drawing need to be relaxed, especially in the beginning. Okay, so drawing, I just told the other video, I'm telling this this video too. Drawing has a rhythm. Painting, like painting, drawing, any art that has a rhythm. The rhythm is from fast to slow. Okay, and reason why is it from fast to slow is because in the beginning you have to draw it. Okay, and because if you have a plain paper, you have nothing to fix, right? So just put things on there, then you start fixing it, right? So you draw this, right? Then you fix it later. And see if it's a third, you draw, that's the third step. The third step, you look at it, you say, okay, this is third step. There's a 50% correct and 50% are wrong. So now you have to slow down and recognize the wrong ones, okay? Which part is wrong? Then fix the part you needed to fix. Don't fix the part is already correct. If you don't slow your pace, you're never going to get more detail, or you're never going to finish, because you make it the correct wrong again, then you just all messed up again, then you fix again, then so there's a rhythm. And also there's you slow down, you can do more detail. Okay, I see some of you, it's very good at first, second, third steps, and then you still doing that sketch. You're still doing that sketch. You don't get in details. You have to get a more sharpened pencil or more lighter pencil to get more detail out, okay? Because you age, I understand. Sometimes you just can't see it or you don't really understand it. That's okay. But I just want you to have this habit, because when you grow up, when you know a little bit, you will definitely get better because you understand things more, and you definitely get better. But I want you to have the rhythms, and I want you to relax in the beginning. It's going to be faster, okay? And but late then the last step, the fifth step or sixth step, now then you slow down, then you be careful, okay? Not in the beginning. Okay, talking too much. Okay, so I got this, then the leaves, right? Pretty much just placing it. See, placing it, right? How long, where's the curve, where this, just place it very a loose line, right? And that. Okay, now I'm having that done, having all that done. I'm start to, it's not all oval and circle anymore, right? I'm start to do a little bit, see the shape of that. I have a detail work, so that those are still like a more general shape, but you can see the each petal of the flower. It's not in detail, but you know, way more than detail than an oval or circle, right? That's what I did for this step. Then after that, okay, so this is a close-up one. So now I remember I had those placement already, right? It wasn't that detailed, but it was a placement. So you know how big were you going to draw those petals. Then you can go on the detail where the curved a little bit, like, you know, is it curved a little bit here and, you know, puffed out here, then you can see the beauty of all the detail in there, right? And because you already find where you're going to draw, how big you're going to draw, then you can get the detail. Okay, so you draw the shape, now you can start shade. See all the shadows here, casting shadow. This is behind this, so that whole thing is darker than that, right? And I think because that's either this part is very red or it has some shadow, so that's darker than those, right? That's the first layer. That's some casting shadow from this to that, right? And going to use a blue, so yeah, that's the casting shadow. The shape of the casting shadow is the flower's shape. See this flower puffed up, right? So that's why this goes up. So don't draw a shape like that, right? Then the flower going to be flat, right? If the flower is curved, the shadow has to be curved. Okay, that's the shadow, so bump, right? And also very, very important, when I'm shading, I never shade one part just same value. I always get dark, some part light. That looks natural, okay? And anywhere, look at my shading anywhere. You don't see a blob just like that. It's always going to be like somewhere is lighter, somewhere is dark. Okay? And that's, I'm shading more. Oh, I was shading this. Okay, this is interesting too. I'm blowing up, let you see. So mostly when you guys shade this, you like to do this. So, oh, wait, this is so big. Okay, if you have this, right? And you just fill in the shade like that. Never do that, okay? Because think about this is basically round, okay? This is round. This thing is round thing, right? Then curved. So from here to here, they cannot be the same value because this is round. The round thing facing, every part facing different lights, right? They cannot be all around the same lights. So they're not going to be exactly the same value, right? And also because it's curved. So when they curved, then some part get more light, some part get in the shade, right? So for those reasons, when you guys shade this stamp, and don't shade all dark. Look, I always have some different values changes. Okay, pay attention to that. It's very important. Okay, now I did that. I'm getting the leaves detail, the shape of the leaves more. Before it was just, sketchy. Before just like sketch like this, right? Now turn to this, right? So next step, I'm going to shade it. Oh, okay, I'm going to shade it. That's how I shade it. And you can tell if I blow this up, see, dark, casting shadow, from here, dark, light, light, dark, dark, light. So the curves, they have a dark and light. And yep, that's that step. I shade the leaf. And now, okay, so that's the first layer of flower I shade. See, that's the first layer, right? I shade the first layer. I probably start from here, okay? Then I shade, then I shade this. Okay, now the first layer is done. This is first layer. Okay, now I'm going to the second layer. The second layer, I'm going to get a darker and detail. So it's not just put a dark on there. It's put a dark and shade more detail on there. Because when you shade the dark part darker, now you have more room shade the lighter part. In the beginning, you didn't shade the dark part dark enough, so you don't have room for the lighter part. What that means is, if you shade the dark part is not dark enough, then you shade the lighter part too dark. Then, you don't have a dark and light part. It'll all become the same. That all become the same value. So then this second step, I made the darker part darker. Now I have room to shade the lighter part, which made more detail. Got it? So there is a thing about shading is like where I'm going to start. Where I'm going to start the second layer. Okay, where you start is no matter if you're painting or you're drawing, you did the first layer where if you start, let's say you're drawing a person, where you start with the left eye when you're shading, the first layer. Then second layer where you start from the left eye. And you finish with the third step where you start. You start from left eye, okay? You always start where you start before, which getting darker, then getting detail, shade more. Getting detail is more value. Got it? because see the first shading, you can tell that part. See, that's so simple, right? And this one is not that simple anymore, right? I added lots of value gray on there because I made those dark. Think about it. If you didn't make this dark, you just shaded, wait, wrong picture. If you didn't make that darker and you shaded this part too dark, then you know they don't have a dark and light, right? The value, the relationship of the value will be wrong. So the relationship has to be right every step of the way. Okay, now that's the second layer. All right, okay. Now I finished the top. See, I just way more detail, right? I made that shiny because I made this darker, then leave a light and make it more shiny. So which that is shiny there, right? Okay, then I did that, then I made this darker because the leaf is darker than the flower, so I just made that darker. And two, okay, and so I start where I started before. And this one, I shaded more on the pot. And okay, so the last step, I'm just getting the darker part darker, right? And you squeeze your eyes, you look, where's the darkest part? Because the dark part, the dark and light contrast or make the picture more sharp. Think about if all the same gray and about the same gray, the picture looks, you know, it's you can't say it's a bad picture, but it's not that look that sharp like that, you know, that you look at like, wow, that picture looks good. But if you have those dark and light contrast, get there the dark enough, then make the picture more popped, right? Or pop, right? Okay, that's what I want to say today. I hope you guys watch this video, okay? Because I taken my time, made it, and knock talk so much, and if you not listen, kind of sad. Okay. Also this part, look the detail. Look, I have it. See, I have it. Okay, pay attention to the detail. I send you the picture too. See that? See the dark and light? Dark and light. This picture is not very clear, but good enough. Okay, bye.